Alright everyone, welcome back to the Duke Blue Devils Dynasty mode in NCAA 2004, and we have some more bowl play, ladies and germs. So after losing the Fort Worth Bowl last season in a close one here to UAB with lots of turnovers and lots of opportunities, just could not capitalize, we did come back and have another great 10-win season, and that gets us in the Tangerine Bowl against Wake Forest out of our old conference, man, our own old conference in the ACC. So we have a chance here to really kind of set ourselves apart with the Demon Deacons and the ACC as a whole and really kind of make a statement that we belong back in it if we can beat Wake Forest today, who Wake Forest has actually been pretty decent in the years that we've been running the sim here, which we know historically Wake Forest isn't all that good, but in this sim, they've actually been decent, like the 6-6, 7-5 range. Like that's kind of just been their bag the last handful of years. So meeting them in a bowl game is pretty on brand. So we saw some numbers that jumped out at us at the little breakdown at the beginning of the video. The big thing is the turnovers with Wake Forest. Wake Forest is a really good turnover team. Like they generate a lot of turnovers, and their differential is really nice. But just put a pin in that. Just foreshadowing is a literary device, as I said. So put a pin in it. So. But we're, of course, looking for our first bowl victory. I think with a bowl win, that'll really get us over the hump here and get us a huge boost in recruiting that we're desperately going to need later in the video because we have a lot of great pieces, especially Junior Hicks, who we are going to be losing this season. I think we have a couple of juniors who might even flirt with leaving. It is possible. I didn't think we were good enough for that, but it is possible. We had it happen last season, so we need to expect that could happen this year as well with some of our best juniors. And so it might be a big turnover roster, and we're going to need a huge boost in recruiting, which all starts with winning this bowl game. So here in the first quarter here, pretty early on, Wake Forest here is going to try and punch it into the end zone, but it's already a fumble, and we're going to recover it here. So Rashad Olson, the top running back here for Wake Forest, gets absolutely spun out, put in the spin cycle, and coughs the football up on the grass, and we're going to lay on top of it. And that's going to give us a huge opportunity heading the other way, but nothing would happen with that opportunity or in the rest of the first quarter. So now we're going to head into the second quarter, and we have a scoring opportunity at 3rd and goal. We're going to hand this one off to Christensen, the fullback, and he's going to find his way in, and I believe that's his first touchdown of the season. So I didn't write down any of the stats for our guys once again because we're going to look at them a little bit later on in the video, but I did, in the video I recorded to look at Wake Forest stats, I also recorded our own, just out of habit because I do it for the Bills videos, and I saw that he hadn't scored at all this season except for this bowl game, of course. So, but either way, Wake Forest heading the other way, and another fumble, and we're going to recover it once again. I believe it's Nick Jackson, the defensive tackle, who got injured in last year's bowl game, and here he is in this bowl game getting a fumble recovery. So that's good. That's good for him. good to see from him. As Heath Braley finds an open target, and it's Joey Craig, who is one of the top receivers here for Wake Forest, but he just coughs the football up, and it's another close call. We had one of those in the Fort Worth Bowl last season, but no review or anything, so that's just going to stand. So on 3rd and 2 now, we have an opportunity here to get a first down and continue the drive. There's plenty of coverage up front here, but still, Junior Hicks cannot find an opening to get to the line to gain, and he's going to get tackled short. So that's probably going to be a field goal opportunity for Freeman Bray here, our new kicker that we are trying out this season, and see what he can potentially do and get us some 3 points. Now, the weather is a little bit wacky, and this is a long field goal, and yeah, that kick is going nowhere close, man. Absolutely nowhere close. So there's got to be some pretty nasty wind on that side of the field, but regardless, man, didn't even give us really a chance. Did not give us much of a chance at all. So 3rd and 6 now here. Braley in the Wake Forest Demon Deacons heading down the other way with a chance to score, and that pass is broken up. He had an open target, Anthony Barton, who gets broken up here. And so Wake Forest is going to attempt a field goal now. This one's a lot closer than Freeman Bray's kick attempt, and I guess there isn't as nearly as bad a wind on that side of the field, so that kick is good. So Wake Forest finally answers back. And guys, I do have my sliders pretty much up where I had them for the Bama series, but this game has just been, this series has been a lot more low scoring. I'm not entirely sure why, but hopefully we'll see some more points here in the second half. But late in the first half, we still have an opportunity as Carlin Scott is able to find an open target in Tyson Dillard, the tight end, down the seam, and he's going to get us right inside the 5-yard line with a chance to score here. So Carlin Scott running everybody up to the line, running around in the pocket looking for an opening here, and he somehow finds an open target in the end zone, and that's going to be another Duke touchdown as we look to extend our lead by at least 11 points, and we do. So down the last couple seconds of the first half, nothing really comes of this play. I just wanted to point out that Braley taking a shot downfield, and that pass is going to be intercepted by Rhodes, and yeah, that's how the first half is going to end. So in the first half alone, there's 3 turnovers with Wake Forest, but we still, we're in a good spot. Obviously, we're leading by, double-digit points here, but It's kind of like giving flashbacks to the Fort Worth Bowl, where there's just a lot of opportunities that we're just not capitalizing on. And this game should be like 28-3 right now. So, but that's not where we're at. And then another Wake Forest fumble as Braley tries to keep it himself, and he gets popped. It looks like by Nick Jackson. Either he recovered it or he made or he popped it out. I can't remember. I can't see which one, but Braley definitely coughs the football up. And now we have another shot on offense. And Scott here takes a shot towards the end zone. And oh my God. Oh my goodness gracious. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that? Let's get another look. Can we get another look at this? Oh my goodness gracious. What in the Sports Center top 10 that we just see, guys? Look at this. Look at this here. Carlin Scott takes the shot towards the end zone. Oh my goodness. What are we doing here? There's no way anyone at Wake Forest is doing that. But Wake Forest gets a turnover of their own, and now Braley here on the option trying to make something happen. And oh my God, don't tell me again that Rasheed Olson's going to fumble the football again. And he does. Rasheed Olson fumbles, and now Wake Forest turnover is up to 5, man. They've got 5 turnovers on this game alone. I just don't know how this is sustainable. So, but the score still remains 14-3, man. And now Carlin Scott trying to get the Blue Devils in the end zone, and that pass just sails out of bounds as he cannot connect with any of his receivers, man. He is just struggling right now in this bowl game, trying to find any open white jersey, just not being able to do it. So Freeman Bray on the field for another field goal attempt. We are on the better side of the field, and see, now he can nail it. He's fine now. So that other side of the field, man, just whoever won that on the coin toss, good for you, because that is just not the place you want to be right now. Not the place you want to try and kick. So 17-3, we finally extend to a 14-point lead over Wake Forest, but with 1 quarter left to play here, plenty of time, Wake Forest can easily close the gap. So on a 3rd and 7 here late in the 4th quarter, and Braley sails this one through the middle of the end zone, just nobody home, no one available for that pass. So now Wake Forest going to have to make a decision here as they find themselves down multiple scores in the 4th. So it's actually kicking off the 4th quarter. I thought we were later in, but we're not. It's at the beginning of the 4th quarter, and on 4th down, that pass is short. He did find an open target, but that pass is going to come short, as I believe the tight end, Bodine, was unable to get to the line to gain. So, but we're going to fast forward again as Wake Forest has another opportunity to score on a 3rd and goal, and that pass is broken up in the end zone by Rhodes. So Rhodes having himself a great game in the secondary, but our offense really not having a great game overall. But our defense is just doing everything they can in the red zone, mind you. So on 4th and goal, Wake Forest again, down to the last opportunities again. And the pass is made, but they had to get to the end zone, and they're not going to get there as Anthony Barton is tackled short of the goal line, well short of the goal line. So it's another turnover on downs for Wake Forest, and all we have to do is kill some clock here if we can. But Carlton Scott here is going to make a boneheaded mistake, man, just a boneheaded mistake, trying to keep Wake Forest into this game by any means possible, as the Blue Devils' offense has been just completely incompetent in so many ways, and Wake Forest with another prime opportunity. Still plenty of time left in the 4th quarter to tie this game up if they wanted to, and finally they're going to break through as Barton is able to catch this pass completely wide open in the back of the end zone, and Wake Forest finally answers back to that field goal they had very early on in the game. And again, it kind of like UAB last year, you give them enough chances and enough time, they're going to score, and that's exactly what Wake Forest has done here. But our red zone defense has been great so far. You can't expect so much from them. So we have a chance here to really put this game away with a long field goal on a 4th and 5, but yeah, we're on the bad side here. But that kick wasn't taken away by the wind or anything, so I guess Freeman Bray just completely, I don't know, had a brain fart on that first kick of the game here, because this one was actually very accurate, but it was just too long of a field goal. So with these sliders, I learned from the Madden 02 thing, and so I upped the accuracy, so our kickers are going to take longer attempts here, like outside of 50 yards, but the accuracy's way down, so the chance that they make it is going to be a lot lower. Kind of closer to what college is in real life, because college kickers take a lot of 40-plus yarders all the time, but, the accuracy's hardly ever there. So, but Wake Forest now in a time crunch here, trying to run the minute drill and at least tie this game up here. They have a 1st and 10, and Braley's able to get the spike down. That's going to clock it at 35 seconds, so we are in do-or-die time here with Wake Forest right now. So fast forward to a 3rd and 10. Braley takes a high snap and hit he throws, and the catch is made, but he's going to get tackled well shy of the line to gain. So Wake Forest in a bit of a tough and tricky situation now, as they desperately need to take the 4th down regardless, but the pressure was on. Just kind of mistakes here from the Wake Forest offense, just some miscues and just not really giving themselves a chance. But they're obviously going to have to take this 4th down, and they're going to run with the hurry up here, but the clock's still ticking. So they didn't get the 1st down. The clock is not stopping. So under 20 seconds left to go, 4th and 7. Braley has to take the snap here. Clean pocket, releases towards the end zone, and that passes in and out of the hands of a receiver, and that pass is going to be incomplete, and we are going to hang on to win this game, man. So whoosh, man. Definitely a scary one. It definitely made it a little bit scarier than it had to be, but we finally have won a bowl game. I forgot to look it up before I started recording, but I think it's our first bowl victory since, the 60s, I think? I'm going to see if I can look it up on my phone here while we're recording, but I'm pretty sure this is the first Duke Blue Devils bowl victory I don't, dude, it's got to be a long time. It's got to be a long, long time. Like, we're going to see. We're just going to see. So looking over the stats here, it is a pretty impressive performance here in a lot of different ways. So Wake Forest did outperform us offensively, and obviously, again, you give them as many chances as they've had, that's bound to happen. That's certainly bound to happen. Third down percentage was about the same, but look at that red zone defense, man. We were absolutely lights out in the red zone, man. Just absolutely lights out. And it looks like the last time we won a bowl game was 1960. It was the 1960 Cotton Bowl. So that's our first bowl victory since 1960. There you go. We've felled the beast here. And so here's a look at our trophy here, and we're going to get into the rest of the whole offseason festivities, look at all the stats, man. So we're going to cut right back into the other me. So all right, but now it's time for us to get into the rest of the festivities for this video, and I wanted to show before I simulated the rest of the bowl games, because I think we're going to get another job offer, and depending on what it is, we might take it. So I'm going to sim through the rest of the bowls now, and then we'll see if we have another job opportunity. I won't show the natty before we get there, because I like keeping that a surprise. So I'm going to sim through the bowl games, and then we're going to see maybe we get a different job offer somewhere. So let's see it. And we did get one, man. We got an offer to go coach UCLA, who's coming off an actual pretty decent season, man. It'd be very easy to take the Bruins and turn them into a contender. I guess maybe they think that we're the upstart coach, at this Duke program that maybe can fix things. I don't know. Maybe we're the coach away. They could be in like a James Franklin situation where they keep competing and keep contending, but they're just not reaching the level that they think they should reach. And so they just need a new coach, a fresh approach to the roster, and I don't know. That's enticing, but I don't think it's exactly where I'm looking here. So I think I'm actually going to decline this offer here, and we're going to give it a couple more seasons here at Duke, see if we can get back into a conference. If we can get back into the ACC, then I'd probably be ready to leave, because I don't know if I want to keep sticking with this until we win a natty, but it'd be fun to do. So we'll see here. But I'm going to decline this UCLA offer. We'll give it another year and see exactly what comes our way. And now let's look at the rest of the bowls and see the results and who our national champion is. And North Texas got blown out against West Virginia here. So that's, I guess, what happens when you let the mid-major play for the national title game. And they dropped all the way to ninth. I don't think I've ever seen the runner-up drop all the way to the back of the top 10. That's wild. So who ends up taking 2? Because Virginia Tech, okay, so Ohio State slips in at 2, and then Virginia Tech takes over at 3. So likely foes here. But West Virginia, Mountaineer fans, rejoice. You have a national title. Can you believe it? In this sim world, you have a national title. So I guess now what's left to do here is just go through our stats and look over everything, because it has been one heck of a season. So, both quarterbacks once again get onto the field here. Willie Nixon, only for a little bit, doesn't have that great of a showing in his little dosage here. But Carlin Scott, man, has himself one heck of a season as a Blue Devil, man. Completion percentage has been the same his entire career, which is funny up to this point. But over 3,300 yards here, 23 touchdowns, and the 59 Ts isn't great, but, it's a lot less than the touchdowns, so I guess I'm not going to be super mad about it. Junior Hicks, man, with an absolute standout season here, over 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns. It's identical to last year. He averaged a little bit more yards a carry, almost half a yard. I mean, it is half a yard a carry more, but still identical season to last year. Just a great running back, though. Our best running back in school history. We are losing a good one there, but we have good ones behind him here. So it's not all bad. Victor Marsher in his junior season, we might expect him to leave, but only 2 touchdowns. So he's never really been in the touchdown fold. It's weird, even though he's generated a lot of yards receiving-wise. He's just never really been a guy to get a lot of touchdown looks, and I don't know why that is. But L.C. Hollins absolutely took a jump this year, and maybe, who knows, we might be losing both these guys. I didn't think we were the type of school that was good enough to lose juniors, to have juniors graduate early, but we saw last year with Trenton Cross, so it's very possible that it happens to us again this season. But with Michael Holliday, he's our third receiver. Didn't get a single touchdown, but got over 500 yards. So, and then Tyson Dillard with 1 touchdown, just 300 yards as a tight end. So, receiving-wise, might be a bit of a step back this year. Who knows? But Bruce Sanders, man, oh my goodness, even improves on where he was last year. So, that's going to be a huge loss on the offensive line, man. This is tough, man. Tough. And then Hubert Morris, first year as a primary starter, and he steps up at the center position. Gives up the most sacks on the O-line, but still a decent season. Javon Battle has a better year than he did last year. And then Brock Parham, not too much, I guess, to look at, but he is, of course, the tight end. And then everyone else just kind of struggled. So we had a couple solid performances on the offensive line, but that's really it. So maybe that's what thwarted the passing attack here. And here, I'll go back and we'll look. We'll see exactly what the sack number looks like. 29 sacks. Goodness gracious. So that's bad. That's brutal. But okay, so Travis Moultrie, you're taking that jump up to 100 tackles here after a step down. I think he missed a majority of last season with injury because he's been a primary starter his entire career here so far. But last year was a huge step backwards. But he bounces back over 100 tackles here. Looks like he's going to lead the team in TFLs as well. Yeah. Well, ties with Khaled Schroeder, the defensive lineman, who's a freshman. So good year for him and leading the team in sacks. So good year for Khaled Schroeder. We like to see that kind of stuff. And then in the interceptions department, Jeremy Rhodes leading the team with 5. Remember, we had a ton of turnovers in the bowl game, so I wonder if that influenced anyone's numbers at all here. And then Freeman Bray in his freshman season, a 69%. So I expected a lot more from an actual kicking prospect rather than a walk-on, which is what we've been dealing with, but the numbers still appear to be about the same. So looking at the stat rankings now, okay, so our offense actually ranked very, very high. So our passing game was actually top 10 in the country. We finished ranked 13th in the country. I just noticed that we're ranked 13th in the entire country. That's absolutely bonkers. Okay, and the total yards per game is up to 21st. Even rushing, we were close to the top 50. So we had a great offense this year. We were actually very efficient on offense on both sides of the ball, which I didn't think was going to be the case after the stats that I just looked at. And then red zone percentage is a little bit lower, but still, man, as an offense, man, we were very, very efficient this season. So I guess the problem might be defense. Our passing defense really took a step back. That's been pretty bad, but we were really great at protecting the run game, which is cool. We were a run-heavy defense, so maybe I should have put the slider closer to that rather than keeping it balanced, because it looks like we definitely had a strength. I didn't think our defense would have had any strengths, but apparently it did. So in points against, man, top 10 in points against, close to top 50 in sacks as well, inside the top 25 on interceptions and fumble recoveries, and then our red zone percentage, we were 6th in the country in red zone percentage. And I mean, you saw in the bowl game, in the Tangerine Bowl, that we just absolutely smothered Wake Forest in the red zone. We allowed nothing to happen in the red zone. So I guess our defense was also just really, really killer. I mean, I'm acting like this is a 7-5 team, but we're not. We're 11-2, and I guess the numbers do reflect that. So I guess I need to put a little bit more respect on our own name. So efficiency is a little bit weird here. We were bad on 4th down, really terrible on 4th down. We didn't take a lot of attempts, but still, we were just bad on 4th down. And then we were very disciplined as well, man. Very, very disciplined. So we played great offense, great defense, and was a disciplined team. That's pretty much the story here. So we threw a lot of interceptions, which is a pretty bad number. That sticks out to me. But everything else is okay. Even our turnover differential and average differential are pretty good. You know, we're inside the top 50 on both. So we were a good team this year, man. We were really good in a lot of different areas. So you could think that that's a good jumping point. But yeah, I'm going to stick with it. We're going to stick with it here and give it at least another season or so, because we are losing some guys. But much like last year, we had a lot of depth that like supported a lot of the guys that we lost. So I thought we were going to be really bad this year, but we ended up still having a lot of talent. So we'll see what the next year brings, and if we can get back into the ACC or just a conference in general. So that's going to be the goal here. But I'm going to record the rest of the bowl game results and standings, and then we're going to get into the offseason. All right, now it's time to look over and see who is leaving the team, see how tough we are. And yeah, we are losing the juniors, man. We are. So L.C. Hollins, Victor Marsh, and Travis Moultrie all are looking to get up out of Dodge. And that is a tough. Yeah, Travis Moultrie's not even thinking about staying here, man. He is out. Out. Victor Marsh is in between here. He's on the fence, and then L.C. Hollins is also leaning towards leaving. So these guys are definitely not coming back, man. So our 2 top receivers here are leaving, and then Travis Moultrie is also, our best defensive player, is also looking to get out of here. So that is a huge blow. I don't know what the future holds at these 3 positions. I've been recruiting receiver pretty well, so I think there's still plenty of guys behind L.C. Hollins and Victor Marsh, but it's nowhere near good enough to replace a 78 and 76 in one offseason. So that's a big question mark. And then again, same with linebacker. I've recruited well at linebacker, especially last season, but we're not prepared to replace an 85 overall, Travis Moultrie. We're just not. So we're also losing Akil Mangum and Junior Hicks. So our top 2 running backs are also gone. And then Wallace Christensen, who's our starting fullback, he's also gone. Tyson Dillard is also leaving, but we are loaded at tight end, so we do not need to worry about that. Our best offensive lineman, Bruce Sanders, is also also gone. Hubert Morris, we have people at center, but I don't think, again, they're as good as a 74, so that's going to be a bit of a drop-off. We're also losing Dominic Lester, who never really spent a lot of time as a starter, but, I mean, he would be the immediate replacement, but he was a senior, so he was leaving anyway. So the right outside linebacker is going to be a huge question mark here. And then Julius Francis, another rotational linebacker, he's also gone, which is a bit of a loss. J.D. Strong is out of here, and so is Miguel Stanton. And I think safety isn't a complete hole here, but I think strong safety is going to be something that we're going to have to look at. So it's not a massive class because the team is still very young, but what we're losing, man, is just everything. And we saw that a lot in the Bama series, where every offseason we're only losing like 8 or 9 guys, but they're all major contributors and starters. So this is a huge class to lose. We'll see exactly what we can do here when it comes to recruiting, but it's not boding well. Just just looking at the guys who are leaving and graduating. So we'll get into recruiting and just, I guess, see what we can do. If anything, we're gonna try, man. All right, guys, this is an absolute just crazy recruiting cycle, man. Crazy recruiting cycle. All right, stick with me here. So we'll look at the signings first and foremost here, because we finally broke through, and this is the year that we have like 40 blue chips that wanted to come here, but most of them are receivers. Like, this is a receiver-heavy class for some reason. And we got 2 5-stars here. We got the number 2 receiver in the country in Kerry Schroeder, and then we also got the number 12 wide receiver in the country, Toby Miller from Ohio. So we're even getting interest from guys, elsewhere in the country. We had some guys on the West Coast that even wanted to come to Duke, man. So we're starting to get the word out there, I also grabbed a 4-star quarterback from in-state because he just wanted to come here, and I figured, hey, man, he's probably better than, the third string that we have, so we'll give him a shot here. He's also 6'6", so that's wild. And then I got another 4-star receiver and a 3-star just in case I didn't land any of my 5-stars, so we might have some decisions to make in the receiving corps, some guys to cut, potentially, but we've got options there, absolutely. I got a 3-star middle linebacker. He's a JUCO transfer, Kevin Wright. Not anything jumping off the page here. There was a 5-star tight end I was into, but he flipped, and then we ended up getting this 3-star instead, so. But again, I think the starting situation at tight end should be figured out this season. I don't think we have to worry too much. Got Akil Barker at outside linebacker, so he's a left outside, not a right outside, so we might have to figure something out here at the outside linebacking position. I did get another tackle in Sammy Harris, trying to replace what we lost in Bruce Sanders, but I don't think it's going to work. I got another 3-star middle linebacker in Adam Kraft, just loading up the linebacking position, just trying to get some rotational pieces, maybe to replace what we lost, but it's probably going to be a step back this year regardless. Jason Bollinger is a 3-star running back. I think I was higher on another one, but he's the only one that we ended up getting. Both these fullbacks were kind of dragging me to like the last weeks of recruiting, so I was in on both of them, and they both ended up coming. Got a 2-star running back. Just I don't know. He might not even stick around. Another 2-star outside linebacker. We needed safeties, and I ended up getting 1-stars. Like, that was all I could get in both of them. So I'm actually going to show you this season who we lost out on, because there's a lot, dude. Like, there's a lot of guys that I was in on that we ended up losing big time. So. And first of all, this guy, too, he was like, look at this. Like, I've been in on recruiting him, and he just never wanted to sign with us. So, I don't know. But, so yeah, I was in on this outside linebacker. He ended up going to Tennessee, of course. This receiver ends up going to Virginia Tech, who I was in on. Here's the 5-star tight end I was talking about. He ends up going to Florida State. I was in on this 4-star center. We really needed a center. I don't think I even got one, but he ends up going to Tennessee. I was in on this 4-star. He ends up going to Ohio State. You know what I mean? Like, I was in on this left guard. He ends up flipping to NC State. I mean, there was a lot of guys I was in on that just ended up flipping, man. Like, there was a lot of them that I wanted. Yeah, I think this middle linebacker ends up going to Ole Miss. Like, yeah, there's a lot, dude. Like, I lost a lot of guys I was in on. So it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like, man. We maybe should have taken that UCLA job. Who knows? But the national championship runner-up here in North Texas is number 1 in recruiting. So they're going to stay perennial contenders, I guess. And then the actual national champs drop all the way down to 9th. So we'll see where we land here. We have a couple 5-stars, so we should be up pretty high. But I don't think our class is all that consistent. But we are 23rd. So it's a solid class here. We're pretty on brand with everyone else in terms of how many recruits. But still only 17 to speak of here. Yeah, so not terrible, I guess. So not the worst. But definitely, we're here. we're in some good company here. Rice has been pretty good recruiting-wise the last few seasons here, and Toledo, of course, has been one of the class of the MAC for the last couple seasons, so I'm not super worried about this here. We finished ranked 13th. We'll probably come in ranked closer to 20th or 25th, so we'll see if we're ranked at all, actually. I'd actually be curious if we'd be ranked at all, but now we have to get into our training results and just get a general overview of what we could expect from the roster heading into all the cuts and the depth chart. Okay, so the training phase is typically where we get like a nice wake-up call that we still have talent on the roster, like Jack Middleton and Aaron Logan, who are both now over 80s as linebackers. Also, Alex Mayer up to an 81 as a right tackle, so that should be a good replacement for Bruce Sanders. Not as good, but just something here, you know. And then Jose McClain up to a 78 as a fullback here. Ben Quinn up to a 76, you know. And then Ed Williams up to an 84, so we'll be all right at senior here, but it'll be a big question mark maybe after the season, since behind him is probably going to be like a 59 or like a 61. Honestly, it's going to be pretty rough. Khaled Schroeder up to an 80. So we have a lot of solid guys here up to 80s. And even Michael Holliday and London Greer are almost up to 80. So that will replace Victor Marsh and L.C. Hollins, but we even got a bunch of guys. So who knows if Holiday and Greer are even going to be used in the way that we thought. Freeman Bray's up to a 77, so maybe he'll finally have a decent year kicking and not a sub 70% season. That'd be amazing, you know. Like, I didn't think that's asking too much, but apparently it is. Jeremy Rose up to an 84. We got a lot of seniors, guys. Oh, this is going to be interesting to see. We have a lot of seniors and a lot of 80s, so we might be in a position, man. This might be the last season, our last hurrah here in Duke. See if we can get them in a conference, and then maybe we might be jumping ship, because I don't even know. I don't know, man. Recruiting, we finally got all the recruits that we needed, you know, interested in us. There's still a couple positions that I just like couldn't lower, like centers and stuff, but you know, we got the amount of recruits that I wanted and the caliber of recruits that I've been wanting, but it was still tough, man. So recruiting at Duke has just been difficult, and our prestige is up to where we can get the kind of guys that we want, but you know, it's still difficult. Like people just, you know, are not coming here the way that it was so easy with Bama. So we are at 56 of 55 that we need, so we're actually probably going to keep most of these guys. I mean, I might cut, Lewis Henry, because we're not going to use Lewis Henry. We'll just cut him because he's a senior. He's not going to play. Both of these guys are about the same. There might be a receiver to cut, I guess. Yeah, we'll cut someone. Brian Thomas. Bye. I don't need to cut anyone else, so I'm gonna stick with it, and then we'll go to the depth chart and see exactly what we're looking at. But I've been getting the recruits, you know what I mean, that I want, but just getting them to just come to Duke has been still kind of an issue. So, you know, that there's no like guarantee that I think after the season, when we lose all of our upperclassmen, you know, we'll be able to maintain this level of competitiveness. I still think we might take a step back, but we'll see once we look at the depth chart here. We'll see exactly at each position what we can expect maybe compared to what last year was at. So we'll see in a second here. All right, so Carlin Scott here is up to an 80, so a little bit better than he was last year. He's still a little bit better than Willie Nixon is at a 79, and again, just for posterity, we'll look at the stats here, see if anyone's better here. So Willie Nixon looks like he might have actually gotten closer to where Carlin Scott is as a passer. I think you could probably take away the 2 points at accuracy in exchange for the speed that Willie Nixon offers, but Carlin Scott did have the better season as a starter last year, and I'm kind of more like reliant on starting him. I mean, their seasons were about identical, man, honestly, about identical. So I think we'll just rock. I don't think it really matters between the two of them, but we'll just rock with Carlin Scott here and see what we get. And Willie Nixon will just kind of be there, you know. He probably in real modern day college football, he probably would have transferred out, but obviously there's no transfer portal, so we're just stuck with what we're stuck with, or at least he is. And then Donnie McMillan is going to start at running back first as a junior, but Brooke Henson is a lot faster, so we're definitely making that swap here. Definitely putting Brooke Henson, the faster running back. He's going to start first at a 79. Jose McClain's going to start at fullback at 78. All right, so the receiving corps. So Kerry Schroeder's up to an 84 as a freshman, man. He comes in as a freshman up to an 84, man. Huge stuff. So one of our blue chips that we just brought in, Michael Holliday's up to a 79, London Greer up to a 78, and then Wes Garner's a 77. And then Toby Miller's a 76 as a freshman. So we were loaded at receiver, man. So I've actually been able to replace what we lost at receiver. So we're actually good, man. Would be good for years to come. So Brock Parham's up to an 81 as a junior. Weren't able to really replace anything behind him. So Aaron Clement might be a little bit of a gap. If we can get 2 seasons out of Brock Parham, I think we'll be fine, because Aaron Clement should be close to a 70 or a little bit above it by the time he needs to start. Or at least we might be able to get somebody better in that time. So Sammy Harris is a 70 starting as a freshman, but we might need to make a switch here with Javon Battle, find a place for him to start. We'll just look at the rest of the line. Okay, Jeff Autry is a 69 as a guard. Good lord. All right, so Javon Battle's definitely going to start somewhere. Oh my god, Kevin Kramer 68. The offensive line's going to be bad, guys. It's going to be really bad. Ben Quinn's okay, so we'll probably start him at guard since it's a much bigger jump. Maybe? No, because that's 9 and this is 10, so I guess... Oh man, this is bad. Golly, this is bad. All right, so we'll put Javon Battle at left tackle, and then I think, can I start Hollins? I can start Hollins, so I guess I'll just start Hollins. I don't think it's a humongous difference, but better than nothing, I guess. I don't want any 60s. I just want 70s across the board, but we don't even have that, dude. Goodness gracious. Yeah, this is bad, man. Oh, my God. Okay, so we have great tackles, but everything else on the line. Right guard should be okay, but everything else on the line is going to be pretty bad. So the interior's not going to be that great. Yeah, okay. That's just what it is, I guess. So at defensive end here, Ralph Roundtree in his senior season up to an 81. And then Lionel McGowan is a 83 in his sophomore season. So we were good at pass rush once again. And then Khaled Schroeder and Nick Jackson just going to hold things down here at 80 overall as a defensive tackle. They'll be here for a couple more seasons. Jack Middleton up to an 82 as a senior, so it's our last season of him. Aaron Logan up to an 84 as a sophomore, man. Oof. Good stuff here. So the linebacking core looks pretty solid here. Okay, so we do have to make a decision at right outside linebacker. We're probably just going to put Kevin Wright in there, just slot him in. Okay, so we should be good at linebacker. We should be decent there. So right linebacker is a bit of a hole here with Moultrie now gone, but it's not the worst. We're still doing okay there. And then Jeremy Rhodes starting cornerback up to an 84. Jason Hutchins 75 behind him. Pat Medley, 73 behind him. Ishmael Lee is down to a 71. Yeah, so we actually have a lot of our cornerbacks at least starting now. All the sophomores, all the freshmen stuff that we grabbed that were like 60-somethings that couldn't even get on the field, they're at least now filling out the depth chart. So it falls off pretty quickly here behind Jeremy Rhodes, who is a senior, but I think we should still be okay at the position. Ed Williams, a senior, up to 84. So it looks like our defense actually might be pretty bad after the season, at least our secondary. We're going to lose a lot in our secondary, which is going to be hard to replace next season. It's going to be difficult, man. And then Mike Alexander, a 74. Yeah, so we're losing both our safeties next year, and then we have nothing behind them. So it's going to be rough. It's going to be pretty brutal. And then Freeman Bray, of course, up to a 77. And then punter Travis Hooper, the walk-on, up to a 72 as a senior. So that is what the team looks like, guys. That is what we're looking like. So now we're going to get into the schedule here. I'm not sure what kind of schedule we should schedule ourselves because, to be honest, I mean, we've contended the last 2 years, so I think naturally we need to schedule some tougher opponents. But I don't think the team is really at that point yet still. I still think there's a lot of positions on the team that are kind of taking a step back. Like, our quarterback's not even that great, honestly. Like, it's not. And then the line in front of them, even worse. So I still think we might need to be playing some easier opponents. We'll see what this schedule looks like. So we do come in ranked 25th. We have Colorado State, who's ranked, who will probably win the Mountain West this season on the schedule, and then Notre Dame, a fellow independent. So I might keep this Notre Dame game to keep the independent stuff going, but we'll probably remove Colorado State. I'll keep Lafayette, of course, and BYU and Kent State, these easy games here, UConn, A&M. I'll keep A&M just for the power conference kind of battles here. It always gives me Buffalo. I don't want to play Buffalo. I'll choose someone else, just a little bit worse than Buffalo, or at least on par. We'll play Central Michigan. Why not? Keep it in the MAC. Why not? And then, okay, so let's remove this Colorado State game real quick. See who else I can put instead of Colorado State. And I hope it's not one of these weeks where it only gives me the FCS games to pick from. I do not want an FCS opponent here. I want to keep at least FBS guys on the roster. Okay, here's Navy. We'll keep our Navy game on board. So we still have a 2-star prestige schedule here. And I think this is easy enough. I mean, these teams should be. So we have UConn, of course, our ACC replacement. So this is a decent enough schedule here. Arkansas State. Let me see if there's a different Sun Belt team. We play a few Sun Belt teams this season, but I kind of want to see. Arkansas State's not that good, but I just kind of want to see if there's an easier Sun Belt team that we can play. Because, okay, Idaho was actually in a bowl last year, if you guys can believe it. Idaho was in a bowl. So they're not going to be the easy one that I thought they would be. Let's see. Normally I do this off. I pause and do this, so I probably should have done that, but I thought it would be very quick. Actually, we'll do North Carolina. We'll put North Carolina on the schedule. Why not, man? Take off Arkansas State and put on North Carolina. So I think we're going to stick with this. We're going to rock with it. Make sure I don't have any home and homes because it does that to me a lot. No. Okay, so we're going to rock with the schedule here, and we'll see what we can do. We'll make it a little bit difficult. We'll probably still struggle to compete here or win the games, but I think if we can at least still win 8 games, we should be able to make it back to a bowl game. So we'll see exactly what happens in the season. I'm expecting to step back. I don't think 10 wins is going to be the standard this year. I think we will probably struggle this year a little bit. We could probably lose this A&M game. We could probably lose to SMU. We could probably lose to UConn maybe. I'm not sure. We probably will lose to Notre Dame. You know what I mean? So I think there's 3 or 4 losable games on the schedule right now. So I'm going to, of course, I'm thinking about the coaching strategy, if we should change it. We were great at running last year, so maybe that's what I'll do. I'll key in on the run a bit more. We'll try that out. I'm going to keep the balance here the same. We could probably lean more towards passing because the running back situation is not as good, but we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it about the same. I'm not going to change too much. So now I'm going to save, and then we'll run the sim. Okay, so the losses were about as expected here. Kind of a decent season, I'll take it. We picked up a big win against SMU on the road here, who ended up having a really bad season. Same with Middle Tennessee State, Central Michigan as well. North Carolina actually finished 500, but we handled them pretty easily. Texas A&M gave us about all that we could handle, unfortunately. It was a bit of a back and forth until A&M just kind of pulled away. We ended up beating UConn, who had another tough season in the ACC. We might be able to replace them, man. It's possible. Then Notre Dame, of course, handled us here. They didn't have a great season. They weren't that good last year either. I think they only won like 9 games last year. We were the best independent team in all of FBS, so that kind of flips as they beat us, but then we beat a fellow Independents in Troy State and Navy, who were both good teams this year. So these are 2 solid wins, man, for us. And then, of course, we beat Kent State pretty easily, and they had a good season, man. So these are 3 winning teams here that we beat back-to-back weeks, and then we continue our win streak with a win against BYU, but after the bye week, just kind of lethargic here, and Louisiana Lafayette completely beats the brakes off us here. So 10 wins was definitely doable here, but for some reason we lose this last game. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what the season looks like now as we sim through the conference championships. I think we should still qualify for a bowl game, but we're going to sim through and see exactly what we're looking at. So let's give it a second here, let the game figure its stuff out. Okay, so I always forget to show the Heisman. I think in the earlier seasons I was showing the Heisman and then showing you guys the results, kind of like a surprise. But we have no Heisman votes this year. Nebraska's got 2, but barely. I guess it was really only a 4-horse race for Heisman this season, and it goes to Mitch Turner, the running back for Nebraska. So the Big 12 here with some representation in Nebraska and Oklahoma, but that's about it. That is about it. And then we get a bowl game invitation here to play Colorado in the Independence Bowl. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of this game here, see if we can get a conference invitation, see if we get a coaching offer somewhere. So we'll be looking for both of those things here. I think we've had, 3 good enough seasons, especially if we win this bowl game and get to 10 wins on the season. I think that should be more than good enough to get us back into the conference, back into ACC, or back into somewhere. So we'll see. We'll monitor this, obviously, and see if we can grab a win against Colorado. It's already 2012, man. We've already went through, 10 years of this? 8, 9 years of this? So it's been a long time coming, man. But yeah, so when we come back here, we're going to have some more bowl play here against Colorado. I'll pull up the little splash screen really quick to end us off. All right, here we go. So we actually finished ranked 36 in the country. Colorado's 30th. They're above us a little bit here. We seem to be pretty even. Colorado's got some outlier stats here. The passing offense is really bad. Ours isn't nearly as good as it was last year, but their defense is also really good. It's a lot better than ours is, and their turnover differential, they're a lot better than we are. But in our last 2 bowl games, we've seen a lot of turnover whackiness happen, so who knows if that's gonna matter. Wake Forest was one of the best teams in the country in turnover differential, and then they ended up having 5 or 6 of their own. So who knows how that works out. But we're a lot of middle of the pack stats here. Colorado's got some outliers, both bad and good, so it'll be an interesting bowl game. So when we come back, it'll be the Independence Bowl against the Buffs. And so I hope to see you guys there, man. We play Colorado in our 3rd straight bowl game, looking for our 2nd straight bowl victory.